The views and opinions expressed in this video are solely those of the individual speaking and do not represent the views of this channel or any affiliated organizations. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Sa space natin, ang daming parang malicious actors. Ang daming parang they're using this tech just because they want to slap blockchain dun sa project.
After that, sabi ko, this is too time consuming, it's too tiring. There's no financial reward there unless you hit the monetization goals.
We code the algorithms, but we don't know how to make better posts.
For me, it's if you're authentic enough and you write it well enough, and the message is there, people will still pick up on that.
Hey guys, this is Blockchain for Executives podcast, where we have one single mission, is to teach you how you can leverage blockchain technology in your business. I'm Christian Carapas, and I'm your co-host for today, and I will help you understand, together with our main host, Alvin Reyes, how blockchain can be leveraged in your business. Okay, so I think it's time for you, brother. Jaime, tell us more about you and what you do in and out of work.
Out
of work.
Yeah. Of course. I've been a banker by profession talaga. So over the past decade, my focus has been on banking, especially lending, and in particular sa mga underbanked, unbanked. So financial inclusion has been a big advocacy of mine ever since I've been in the banking space. But I've kind of ventured out of banking over the past, I would say, 3 years. So I'm now a content creator, and I have my own and a side business, right? I'm a content creator and writer by profession. So I write about finance and tech for a couple of organizations. I also write for blockchain for some organizations. That's been me. So that started around 2020. I mostly started on LinkedIn. So as Christian mentioned, medyo doon ako nag-grow ng following. I'm still growing my following naman now, pero slowly lang. I was voted parang top 100 Filipinos on LinkedIn. So I won in 2020, 2021, 2022. We didn't have a ranking kasi nagkasakit yung nag-lead ng initiative. But this 2023, got nominated again. So sana makapasok ako in the list by December. So aside from content creation, I've kind of married yung passion ko for tech and content creation through my project now, yung DAO Create. So it's a decentralized crowdfunding platform for creators and backers. So I've started that with 2 other founders.
Kasi
100.
DAO Create pala yung tawag, bro, no? Kasi dati basa ko
DAO Create.
Una kong basa DAO Create. Yeah, DAO Create.
So DAO Create kasi I would say this for the projects, diba? It's a funding platform. Each project is backed by a DAO, and we reinforce it kasi with governance. So if you're a funder, you're part of the DAO, diba? You get to vote on the funding releases. So milestone-based yung funding namin. Imbes na isang bagsakan. So it's highly governed. You can also vote on project changes, diba? If the project owner needs to make a change, pagbobotohan yan. Yeah.
Yep.
And then even if there's over-allocation of funding, yun yung maganda, parang there's a stretch goal, and as a DAO, you can vote on whether to continue that stretch goal or not. So just some of the things that we're working on there in DAO Create.
This is interesting.
So, I wanna ask about you sa you being a top 100 dun sa LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What's the playbook for that? Like, right? Like, kasi like I've seen a lot of post about that in top 100. And it's impressive, like kasi ang daming ng network or ang dami ng user signups ng LinkedIn. It's like maybe millions na. To be a top 100, that's amazing. So like how do you guys do that?
Well, it's Filipino ranking, no?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the Philippines, around 7 million LinkedIn users, right?
Yeah.
But not everyone is super active. I think sa Philippines, Facebook pa din yung main platform.
Yeah.
LinkedIn appealed to me kasi mas professional siya.
Yep.
And personally ako, my branding is more professional tone. I speak more English, predominantly English. Although I speak Tagalog din naman. I do Taglish content. So LinkedIn appealed to me. So yung ranking na yun, for you to make it in the ranking, well, number one, somebody has to nominate you. So someone out there on LinkedIn has to take a look at your content and say, hey, I want to nominate this person. So in the first year I got nominated, nobody actually nominated me. No, but the project owner of that ranking reached out to me and said, hey, I like what you're doing here on this platform. I'm going to nominate you personally. So
Yung continuous posting of content.
Yeah, kasi my content was more of helping Filipinos kasi nung time na yun, 2020, ang daming na layoff, diba? A lot of people like searching for how
jobs,
I mean, for a lot of us, getting laid off is like sobrang eye-opening and it's rare, right? Parang I've been in the career, I've been working for 10 years. The first time I ever heard of a layoff was in the pandemic. So there were people like me, I didn't get laid off, but I'm sure there are people like me who had been working for a decade, 15 years in solid companies, about big industries, and suddenly, boom, laid off. Diba? There's a struggle, diba? You've been out of the job hunting space for so long. Parang, how do you get back into it? So I was teaching on my platform mostly about how to find a career, diba? How to make the most out of your career. So I was trying to help a lot of Filipinos, and I think they took notice of that. I also had a lot of trending content, right? So they took notice of that as well, and they said, I'll personally nominate you. So that's how I started in that ranking. The next year, medyo kilala na ako, and I had the following. Some people who are reading my content nominated me na. So the ranking of that is based on, I think you need to meet minimum number of followers. Kasi from 1 to 100, who's ever at the 100 spot, siya yung pinaka-fonte in that ranking. Then you need to have engaging posts, right? And somebody has to nominate you, so you need to have some kind of following.
So may ganun pala siya. So it's just really continuously posting content based on your niche, right? Like whatever you want to advocate or whatever. I guess like whatever is trending then. So that's interesting. Yeah. So I was always curious about, kasi I'm seeing a lot of Filipinos who are their top 100 on this. And yung spectrum ko kasi sa LinkedIn is really more on the tech, right? If you look at my sort of feed, it's really directed, or it's really like a feed for technologists. So majority of them puro like software or sa decentralized, sa Web3, blockchain space. And I was always curious, like how can I do that? Because now I'm sort of like starting to do this, like to do some content creation. Because I've been blogging since I started, honestly. So matagal na rin ako nag-work, like 15 years na ako sa industry. Since 2007, 2008, nag-work na ako. Pero before that, college pa lang, I was already doing blogs. Like, nagbablog na ako about tech, about like my programming sort of experience. And the reason for that is, kasi that's how I learn then. Like, when you write content, that's how you absorb, right, information. Kasi it's different when you're reading, and then you're just reading. It's like theory lang. Pero when you're applying, when you're like really writing about it, dun mo na absorb it. So, dun ko siya simulan. And then it's just really a hobby. I didn't really like parang monetize or like sort of have a like wala akong plan about it. But I think right now we have this platform. Maybe we can just continuously post about our advocacy here. So yeah, that's why I'm just curious about like yung mga ganong influencers, top 100. So maybe Christian, we can aim that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's because for us, we're advocating the proper use of tech. Like to me, like it's not really like the recognition and all, pero it's the proper use of tech, right? Kasi sa space natin, ang daming parang malicious actors. Ang daming parang they're using this tech just because they want to slap blockchain dun sa project nila so that they can get more like funding. Pero if you look at under the covers, they don't have anything. Like wala talaga siya, right? So ang daming ganong parang actors.
Speculative lang.
Yeah. So
actually,
that would be
since we're in that topic, bro, Jaime, there's something I've always been curious about in LinkedIn, and where I'm actually experimenting on it as well for our platform, Blockchain for Executives. What I'm most curious about is because I've heard before that native content in LinkedIn works better than, let's say, sharing a link. So most often I see your content and I other people's content, even though they try to post it as an article somewhere on the blog, they copy the entire thing and post it natively on LinkedIn. Is there an effect to that? Like, have you experienced it contributing significantly to the algorithm?
Yeah, I think so. Parang the algorithm penalizes you if you post a link. I think it's the same on X also. Parang there's a penalization for links. Kasi if you have a link, you lead people out of the platform, diba? And the goal of these platforms is actually to keep people inside. So it's better to write it out, diba? You can put a link siguro in the comments, ganon, or at the bottom of the post. But
That's smart.
Pero you have to write something about it. But at least people will read through it, so they stay longer on that post, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, kasi nakita ko may impressions nga, and then meron ding parang time. There's a statistics, there's an analytics metrics for that. Yung how many or how long did this user like open this specific post. So kung link lang yun doon, and then it's like 0.2 seconds wala na yung user dun sa platform.
Yeah.
But if you have like some content, you're gonna
I think popular content, like when I started out, the long written post. You can add a picture or something or a video, but a long written post because people will read through that and spend time on it.
Nice. Oh, we're getting gold bars from Jaime, man.
May book eh. Kasi puro tayo coding.
Yeah.
Puro tayo coding. Yeah. Pero yeah.
Like we just code. We don't know. We code the algorithms, but we don't know how to make better posts.
Well, for us kasi like we just want to do it, right? Just to learn, right? We're not like we don't post it kasi we want to monetize it, right? We don't do that.
That's true.
Pero at least we have some sort of name that we can. Yeah, that's good.
So is that why Dow Create is mainly focusing on backers and content creators? Is because of your history as a content creator?
Well, it was not my original idea, right? So I'm honest and I will admit that it was one of my co-founders' idea. It appealed to me because as a content creator myself, I have my own struggles, diba? I could relate to what it was trying to solve. So originally kasi when he created that, lahat naman tayo, at some point in time, we tried to create content, diba? Either a YouTube channel or something. So my co-founder also started a YouTube channel like 10 years ago, pero hindi nag-fly. Even myself, I started a YouTube channel 2021. Parang I hit 2,000 followers and everything, but after that, sabi ko, this is too time-consuming, it's too tiring. There's no financial reward unless you hit the monetization goals, right? But even if you do hit the monetization goals, parang I've seen YouTubers post about how much they earn given X number of followers, etc. It's not a lot. And me at my 2,000 followers, I was thinking, is this going to be worth my time or not? So sabi ko, I'll give it 6 months. After 6 months, medyo hindi siya nag-take off. So, hindi ko na tinuloy. But I still do my written content. Because that's something I really enjoy. Kahit lang bayad yun, that's something I enjoy. So from those goals, yeah. I'm a content creator.
Very authentic. Very authentic yung content mo, bro. I've noticed na the content you create is just you. You saying what you thought, what you think, or like how you experience things as they are. And that speaks to me. The authenticity there is so solid. And I think that's really what made you viral, in a sense, with almost everything you post. This is so relatable, so authentic.
Thanks for that. No, I try to keep it real naman. I usually post something that I've experienced myself, diba? I had a well-performing post, not on LinkedIn, no. It was on Facebook, I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago. It's about
I think nakita ko yan.
Using credit cards. It was a credit card related post. It hit
Kaskasan.
It hit over 500,000 impressions. On Facebook. Parang a lot of people say that written content is dead, diba? Na we should go to TikTok or YouTube Shorts or what. But for me, it's if you're authentic enough and you write it well enough and the message is there, parang people will still pick up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
like, I don't know, ako personally, I still would want to read content, right? I guess like kasi naging trending yung para mga videos in videos in mga short content is because of the yung mga shorts, right? And this TikTok. Like yung attention span, right? Ng most people, parang naapektuhan kasi they need to context switch. And then like na-train yung brain nila to sort of just quickly scan through the text or quickly scan through the content. Pero yeah, for me personally, ako nagbabasa talaga ako right there. Sa Twitter, honestly, Twitter, like every morning, tinitingnan ko yung Twitter feed ko or like LinkedIn feed ko kung ano yung mga trending topics. And then like, I just read through kung ano yung mga comments. Not really comments, pero yung mismong feedback ng user, yung mismong write-up. And then yung mga comments. Kasi minsan yung comments parang mas ano pa eh. Either nakakatawa siya or minsan parang
mas insightful.
May insightful comments na, you know, they'll add more facts dun sa mismong content. Right?
Yeah,
minsan may mga nangaasang lang. Pero
but there's also a reason for that. Kasi as a content creator, especially if you're starting out, one of the top rules is you must be a reply guy. And you need to reply very fast. Within the first 5 comments of a top content creator, like on Twitter or X, you need to be very quick, and then you need to be insightful kasi that will help expose you to that audience. That's a growth hack ng mga content creators then.
Yung hashtag, does it really help? Like, they always recommend that, to have a hashtag. To me, like, sometimes, parang siya weird. Parang weird the way hashtag yung...
I think on some platforms, like Instagram, dami, diba? Daming hashtag.
Yun eh.
On other platforms, hindi siya ginagamit. Like, I've heard on Facebook, it's a no-no. LinkedIn, parang keep it 3 to 5. But in general, I've written viral posts without any hashtags. Just something that spoke to the audience.
Content is king, no?
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
For Twitter, I've noticed that the fastest way to grow your following, from my experience, is number 1, spaces.
Yeah.
Talk in spaces. And magtanong, just ask a question, people will follow you afterwards. As long as it's relatable. That's number 1.
Yes.
Number 2 is what I call reply. I retweet. So you find the high influence, low following guy, retweet his tweet, and then it'll get a lot of engagements, and he will even reply. Then you reply to him. You guys become moods. Then when he replies to your or engages with your tweet, suddenly people come in. That's the second thing. And the third thing that I see that's effective is that how do I say? When you somehow get their attention so much that they comment. When they comment, suddenly a lot of people come in as well. But the top 2 is really both tweet, add an insightful description, and then spaces. Spaces, I've grown so much just from spaces.
Yeah.
But 3 times, bro. I hit 1K because of that.
Nice.
It's spaces.
Yeah.
Okay, I should do more of the spaces then, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Well, kasi ako nagkaroon ako ng following dahil I've launched a few projects like, and then hindi naman talaga ako nagtatry mag-marketing. Hindi naman ako, you can see like my followers, right? Para hindi naman significant. Pero I didn't do anything. I just reposted, and I sort of reposted some of like technical topics, and then with my thoughts on it, with my okay, this guy is, you know, parang this is a technically sound, this is gonna be implementable, we can do this. So it's gonna be, it's like that yung content ko eh. Doon ako nagkaroon ng following, pero it took years. Like wala pang spaces noon eh. Di ba yung spaces medyo relatively new lang yan, right? Like wala pa namang... I started sa Twitter 2008 ata, 2007, 2009. Sobrang tagal na. I guess like one of the first users then.
OG.
Yeah. Pero hindi naman ako parang just for the sake of creating a Twitter account, that's it. Pero as soon as like nagkaroon na ng trend na okay, you need to be a content creator na by what, since 2018, 2016, 2017. Kailangan ko na meron ka ng socials and all. Doon ako nagkaroon ng okay, sige, I need to do this. So yung parang blogging ko before turned into tweeting or Facebook sharing or LinkedIn sharing. Pero I've never emphasized on like, okay, I need to hit like 2,000 followers or 3,000 followers. It's just really be sharing. So siguro like I need to participate more sa spaces. Hindi ako nag-spaces eh. Pero nagli-listen ako. Yeah. That's happened as yeah.
Though the interesting part, bro, Jaime, is that the first thing when I saw you post, like this is being very transparent being very honest. The first time I saw you post about DAO Create, the thought that came into my mind, well, I know how Jaime writes, I know how you post, I know your priorities because of the things that you write. It shows who you are somehow. So I have a general understanding of your decision making just from reading what you put out. I always see you on my feed. Now, the first thought that came into my mind was what convinced Jaime to join DAO Create and be the chief product officer. That's the thing that came into mind. That's why I want to know now, what was that compelling reason for you to jump in, especially knowing how you're not really risk averse, but you're very calculated. I see that in your posts. Even the way you manage your finances, very calculated. So it was a surprise to me that you jumped into a startup such as DAO Create in Web3, which I know is kind of risky, especially in the bear market. That's why I want to know, what was that very compelling reason that pushed you into joining as a chief product officer?
I'm kind of searching right now for myself. I'm obviously, in terms of life events, marami nangyari over the past year. Like I got married, have a kid now, right? So in terms of the way my life is changing, parang a lot has been happening, and I'm trying to figure out parang what's the next stage for me. I noticed that kasi over the past years, I've been more risk taker in terms of, I guess, an entrepreneurial mindset, diba? So I dived into content creation, and I've kind of, started some kind of small business out of that, right? Some humble content creating business. So I guess I'm looking around for learnings, diba, in terms of that entrepreneurial mindset. So when this opportunity came up, it's for a Solana hackathon. So dun muna kami nag-start. But we're continuing it even after the hackathon. Parang sabi ko, why not? No. I could maximize my time naman even more. If you cut down on being just a consumer, diba? And maybe it sounds like a lot of hustle bro or grind mindset, but I do believe if you cut down on being a consumer, having consumer mindset, like just consuming content, watching videos, watching Netflix, you could be better productive of your time. So I kind of took a look then, reflected on it. The first hackathon phase was September to October. I also had some time during this phase kasi I was on parental leave. So you're not taking care of the baby. It's more sharing because we gave birth in Taiwan. In Taiwan, you have what is called the postpartum hotel. It's like a baby hotel. So after nanganak yung wife ko, for 2 weeks, we were in a hotel, and we had a professional team who was helping us take care of the baby. Pag gabi, you can choose to give your baby to the nurses, and they'll take care of the baby in the nursery. Yeah,
Nice.
so I kind of had a lot of time. I did it knowing that I would have a lot of time on my hands then for the next 3 weeks, which was enough to complete the hackathon. And then after that, I'm learning a lot here. I think whatever I learned here, hopefully it's going to be a successful project, but whatever I learn here, I'm going to be able to use in my next venture, if ever.
So yung Solana hackathon, I'm sorry, maybe this wasn't clear. So did you participate to sa hackathon or?
Yeah, DAO Create. Well, we started it there. We made an MVP. We submitted sa hackathon. So we'll know by October 30. We'll know by October 30 if we make it to the final stage.
Oh, okay.
But what's the main? That's a really interesting story, actually. I like that because I know your brother Pat Zhu. He's very he's into entrepreneurship, so I'm not surprised why you would pursue it. It's like maybe it's within the blood. I'm not sure, but what I want to go through next, at least, or find out from that is, now I understand why it's compelling for you personally. I want to know what's compelling naman when it comes to DAO Create itself. Like, what was that core vision or mission, or at least is it very purposeful, or is it because you came from Solana, then Solana hackathon, this is the easiest thing to get into?
I think it started as hackathon, right? I'm continuing to build my content creation alongside that. So in terms of the entrepreneurial mindset, I started more with the content creation, right? And then this DAO Create came into the picture. I said, why not do it? Because it kind of blends in what I do naman talaga. So I'm a content creator. I'm also a product manager. So the skill set kind of made sense. I'm into blockchain.
Yeah.
So parang it was just an intersection of both my skill set and interest. So it wasn't something it's not a super big risk. Kasi at this point naman, it's more time and effort yung capital namin versus like funding or what. No?
Yeah. Parang ano siya, no? Grant program. So it's still ongoing, right? Yeah. So sabi mo,
Yeah.
October 13 results.
Okay, but after that, we have a few incubators that we're trying to get into. So there's next year pa yung E-Labs. Mark asked about E-Labs na. It's next year, but we have a few this side of the year. So we're targeting AppWorks, which is based out of Taiwan. They just opened their submissions due in the.
They're big. Upwork is big, diba?
Yeah, they're big. They're quite big. I believe they're an early backer of, if you know the Flow blockchain.
Yeah. Check out the Flow.
Yeah.
Just not sure now. Nawala ata sa Flow ang Flow.
Yeah.
Anyway. So in a way, marami pa rin projects na nagawa on top of
They don't just fund Web3, they also fund Web2.
Web2 projects, yeah. Anything that's useful, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's useful, and they're mostly focused Asia.
So like,
Go ahead.
Curious about sa tech base mo, right? So like Solana Hackathon. So is that like specifically you chose Solana to build on top on, or is it just because that's the most available? That's the available hackathon that's out there. I'm just curious about the
yeah, of course. Of course, that's the hackathon, right? So you must be building on Solana. But our CTO, Theo Roque, he's a Solana developer. So that's what he knows also.
Okay, that's why he's a Solana developer.
And I think there's a community here like Bloxy. So I think Solana is one of their focuses.
Oh, okay. Bloxy.
Yeah, the block group.
Bloxy, the block.
Bloxy, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So, but beyond that, bro Jaime, I want us to go over DAO Create naman. Like, could you walk us through the user journey of someone? Let's say I'm a user, I want to go into DAO Create, I want to do something. How does that work? And what exactly are you guys envisioning that a certain person, a content creator or a backer, would take as a benefit from using DAO Create?
Yeah, it's really a platform for creators to, I guess, fulfill a dream product of theirs. So let's say you're a creator, you want to create a podcast, right? But to create a nice podcast, you probably need some equipment, diba? You might need a recording studio, right? You might need some scripts and everything. That takes time. But there's also some financial implications to that. You can always start from your smartphone, but if you want to really be at a high level content creator, you need your own setup and everything.
Yep.
So to get that backing, where can you go, diba? As a creator, where do you get that funding? Right. So we created DAO Create for that side of the creators. So it's a two-sided problem. So as a creator, where do you get support? So that's your platform. But secondly, as a backer, ang daming fly-by-night projects, diba? Even in the Web3 space, as you know, madaming rug pulls, diba? You have these NFT projects sell out their NFTs, raise millions of dollars, only for them to either disappear overnight or never really fulfill what's in their roadmap. So we wanted to add that governance aspect to the whole funding process. So let's say you're a creator, diba? You land in our website, you start a project. So in starting that project, fill out certain details. It could be like pictures of what you're planning to accomplish, diba? You can upload your own pitch deck, diba? Of what you're planning to do, who you are, but you fill out some additional details in terms of the milestones you seek to accomplish in this project. So hindi siya isang bagsakan na here's the money, but it's more like
milestone based.
By this time, I expect to be done with this part of the project. Sabihin natin, I put up my studio. In 50% of the way, I expect to have filmed or recorded one podcast. By the end of the project, I've recorded the series of 5. Right? So that's how that's how you enter as a content creator. And then you, of course, can choose how you want to receive that funding, whether it's through USDT, by USDC, or we're trying to do it on off ramp. You can get it through USD. Or more
Is
of
it spe-
film na.
yeah. So is it specifically for content creation or any projects? I guess
It's
for
really meant for anyone, no? So not just a content creator. You could be an aspiring author, diba? You want to create and publish a book, right? Then you can do it through this platform, or you could be the next Banksy, right? And you want to create art, so you can do it through the platform. Maybe for projects that people want to put up. So that's the illustrator side of things, no? But on the backer side of things naman, when a project is created, a DAO is created as part of that. And when you back the project, you can choose to back it through several tiers, diba? And per tier, parang like your voting power increases. Because if you fund, syempre, if you fund more, dapat may...
more voting power.
Yeah, something like that. So you enter the DAO, diba? And let's say the project meets its required funding. So the project can start, right? And then during each milestone, the creator submits like documentation. Okay, pictures or some write-up. This is what I've accomplished now. I'm seeking approval for the next batch of funding. So the DAO votes on that. Diba? They choose whether to approve or disapprove the next batch of funding. So we kind of want to balance the, I get that you want money, but you have to be responsible with with what you do.
Progress. Yeah. You have to show progress. That makes sense. Yeah. Kasi before, yung mga, I just like, I would relate it to some of the projects on like ICO before, wherein they got the funding first, right? The entire funding, without even creating a tangible product, right? Kasi dati, it's all about like white papers and then, selling, marketing, business development, pero wala talagang tangible product. And then they got the entire funding. And what I like about it is basically a crowdfunding, crowdfunding platform, right? Wherein like you have this smart contract, the DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization sort of contract, and anyone can vote. Everyone can sort of have a vote if you mentioned if that specific project is progressing or not. Then if they are progressing, then they're gonna get the next tranche, right, of their basically like requested grant. So that's actually a good way to do it, as opposed to sa before na nagbibigay lang ng fund, and then like yung mga users, yung mga community, nagreklamo sila na wala naman tong output, hindi to na, and it's not fair. So it's
I think so. Yeah.
It's so huge. So yung voting, is it like open to anyone, right? Or is it like meron lang talagang parang set of organizations who can vote?
No, you have to be a backer of the project, diba?
You have to be a backer. So anyone can be a backer.
Technically, anyone out there can back a project. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's much more open then. Yeah. So may nakita ko mga crowdfunding na platform na they only have a set of backers. Sobrang parang naging notary process as opposed to like an open organization. So they built like parang an organization lang that backs their project. It's not open to anyone, and then they submit a project, and then only these people can back it, right?
Yeah.
And like in a way, to me parang it's sort of like parang yung ganong setup kasi parang medyo centralized lang din siya. Kasi they are I mean it's centralized, right? So yung ibang nakikita kong crowdfunding platform din kasi is you're really open to anyone. And as you mentioned, yung parang pinaka-grading or rating system nila in terms of vote is yung stake, right? Yung mismong pledge nila. Enough, then they will have a more voting power. Right?
Correct. That's correct.
So,
yeah,
It's a really good.
Yeah, go ahead. Good.
It's a really good mix, honestly, because number one, it lowers the risk for the investors by putting it in a DAO. Parang you allow them to lower the risk for themselves. It's like investing now into something in a content creation project is so much more less risky because I have control. If they're not keeping up, I'll just pull the funding out. They are, then I can pull the funding in progress, right? So that's number one I like about it. Number two, the part that I also like about it is that, but before that, actually, are you guys somehow, some way supporting them in monetizing? Is that your goal? Is it more of jump starting than monetizing? Because right now what I see is it's more of jump starting.
Yeah, it's more of jump starting right now. So if you want to create a product, let's say, I mean, it doesn't have to be content creation or what. Let's say you want to build the next generation smartphone, right? You can do it on our platform, diba? And at the end of the project, your deliverable is the smartphone, right? And to the people who back you, diba, their reward It's not like a share of the profit or what. Their reward is a smartphone that you've created, diba? But that's a good idea kasi baka based on that. So we've started the project for you, right? Maybe now you can think about how to monetize it kasi you've gotten your first set of customers.
That's the pain point kasi of content creators that I've seen. There's this guy I really look up to. His name is Carl Ople. I'm not sure if you've heard of him, but he's a wealthy guy who's into content creation or at least collectibles, different businesses, an entrepreneur. And he exposed this it's like a limit to content creators. Like, ang nagiging monetization nila is either the platform reward or your native payments or brand deal.
Yeah.
Pero ang sinasuggest ni Carl Ople is sabi niya, don't limit yourselves to those brand deals and platform rewards. You need to find a way to turn your content creation into a business.
Yeah.
Yun yung pain point ng mga content creators. So I was thinking, is DAO Create solving that in a way? I would say jump-starting, yes, it would be somehow like that. But the beauty of that is I've seen a solution actually online by someone from Stanford. US lang to, wala sa Philippines. It's called Standard Store.
Standard Store, okay.
What they do is they allow you to add a link sa profile mo that would if you have your PC, just search it. This guy named Jay Hoovy, he actually documents it on YouTube. He helped content creators monetize. Kasi yun yung pain point Ang ginagawa niya, para siyang link sa profile mo wherein people can pay you for a consultation, for a booking, for your talent, for different things. And he makes it so much more easier and smooth para lang ma-monetize mo yung influence mo. And it's good that he started this, pero wala pa nito sa Philippines. Actually, nasa ibang bansa pa lang to. So I was like, maybe that's, I'm not sure, you're the chief product officer. Yeah, it could be a next step for you guys. So I wanted to bring that up because sabi ko, you guys are in that point, lowering the starting, then monetizing.
Yeah, you're now helping the projects, right? So this is sort of like going to be an extension of your support then sa mga projects wherein you'll help them how to monetize their content then.
Check his YouTube. His name is Jay, as in J-A-Y, Hoovy, H-O-O-V-Y. Jay Hoovy.
Okay.
And isi-share niya sa yung secrets niya. So you should check him out. He's
Creator to mga content. That's good. This is good.
Build in public siya, bro. Malala. Pati yung mga pitch decks niya, nare-reveal niya. I actually touched base with him on email, by the way, because I do network through email. So I touched base with him, and he's a cool guy, man. So I think if you guys email him and get his insights with Dabre, definitely gonna be a solid somehow. Maybe find a partnership. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think we're more on content creation, no, in terms of the industry. So Alvin,
sorry,
on decentralized.
Talking to us as a
Yes, as a whole, yeah. So, because I want to get Alvin's insight, because we're at the point in the recording session where we finally talk about how can blockchain really augment your industry or your business as a whole, like content creation. See, Alvin, kasi he's I believe he's the one with the strongest connection to that, being Delta storage or decentralized storage as a whole. What do you think, bro, Alvin? How can decentralized storage or blockchain augment content creation industry kaya?
You already know about IPFS, right? Yung file storage. So I'm pretty sure every content that you store on your platform can utilize the decentralized storage technology. Not just because of the hashing or the immutability or the verifiability. It's distributed, right? So it's faster, it's much more efficient to host, it's much more easier to serve back to the consumer, right? So for example, if you have a user that's like viewing a video, it is much more efficient to host it on IPFS or a file system or a decentralized storage because it's much more optimized, right, in a way. So if you use that storage. So in terms of the use of blockchain, I think you're already using blockchain right now for your DAO, which is really a good idea. Honestly, it's a good idea to do that. Like kasi yung mga crowdfunding right now, right? I mentioned earlier yung mga problems with crypto-backed crowdfunding earlier, wherein they're doing ICOs and then they're not really doing a lot of checks or sort of triple checking kung ano yung progress of mga projects, right? You're just trusting the white paper. And we need to have a solution for that. And this is like a solution that you've built, like the DAO itself, yung DAO mismo, yung creating basically a flow wherein you can allow content creators or anyone who has a project to report their progress, right? Make sure that they are hitting their milestones. And then you can monetize or not monetize, you can compensate them for each of the milestones that they achieve, right? And if they're failing to do so, they have to just sort of justify that, right? Before they can get the next tranche, right? Or you can sort of pull out the entire funding kung hindi talaga sila nagpa-progress, all right? So it's really a good solution. And when I first heard about crowdfunding, honestly, it's like personally, I liked it. I love the idea just because other than the industry without those innovations pa eh. I started early, like 2017, 2016, yung boom ng ICOs eh. And I can literally, I literally saw a few projects na parang they're just really marketing the white paper and then that's it. And then they get the whole funding, 250 million, 3 millions. And this is not just like 50,000 USD. This is like millions of dollars in funding in cryptocurrency. And it's unregulated and walang nagti-triple check, walang nagche-check ng progress. Community is really just trusting the project to execute, right? So the DAO itself, what you guys are doing is actually, to me, it's a proper use of technology, proper use of tech to push those projects to really deliver a tangible result. So yeah, block that use of yours, blockchain, and then I guess like if I were to sort of augment that with a new technology, with some technology, I would say use decentralized storage for all of your contents. So you can sort of extend your platform, all of those contents, store it on IPFS, store it on decentralized storage network, so that you can verify the authenticity of those contents, right? So if you're not familiar yet with IPFS, it's one of the features that it has is, or Delta storage, it has this tamper-proof and tamper evident mechanism wherein yung identifier itself, the unique hash, is based on the content of the file. So this means that if that file was tampered with, kahit a small space lang, the entire hash will change, right? And what it does is it imposes data integrity. So meaning if your content is there and if you have the hash, you can always take that sort of ID anywhere. As long as you have that, you will always get the same content, right? Wherever you go. So if someone tampers that, then it will have that version of tampered data will have a different ID. So parang if you're building, kasi you mentioned you have content, right? You have a blog post and you don't want sort of create or sort of copy and paste your content and then just add more add more content to it, right? Or add more something that you didn't really write about. So using IPFS, you'll be able to impose that data integrity and authenticity onto your platform. So I guess that if there's an opportunity, kasi I'm building I have a tech startup called Data Storage and I'm using decentralized storage network.
Okay.
And I'm using the light IPFS that I mentioned earlier. Like I built my own sort of IPFS, which is still based on IPFS. And I guess that we can work together on that one if you're interested. Like we can augment your platform. So instead of using, I'm not sure what you guys are using right now. Maybe you're using S3 or maybe you're using an IPFS node.
I think you're using IPFS. Yeah.
IPFS, right? So if you're using Kubo, the IPFS, I actually have a lighter version of that, which is much, much more cheaper to host. So you will have the same power of IPFS. We don't need to host it on your own if you're hosting. I can provide you with the same API endpoints. Maybe you're using Piñata. I don't know what you guys are using, what IPFS service that you're using. But Delta Storage has all of these like technical integration, which is very similar to the ones that NFTs are using, right? So for Piñata, Web3 storage, NFT storage. So yeah, I mean that's something that we can work together on. So, but overall, you're using blockchain the proper way, in my opinion. You are using DAO, you're using IPFS, which is content accessible storage, which is tamper-proof and tamper-evident. So that's, to me, it sounds that you are in the right path, honestly, in terms of technical integration. I'm just like, honestly, ang question ko lang is why Solana? Yun lang. Pero you mentioned earlier na parang kasi yun yung parang skill set ni Tio.
Yeah.
I'll be transparent with you. I'm not a big fan of Solana. just because of the centralization aspect of it. To me, it's kind of like centralized, semi-centralized in a way. Just by looking at the protocol and how proof of history works.
Yeah.
And there's just so many downtimes that's happening in Solana. Like blockchain is supposed to be always up and running. Like for example, Bitcoin has never gone like in 11 years or 12 years, never siya nag-down. Solana has like what 11, 12, 13 downtimes in a year, which is like may pangang mas you're it's supposed to be like up and running always, right?
Well, I think this year they have not had a downtime.
They have not. So that's a good thing, right? So yun lang yung ano ko. I guess like I have to read more about kung ano na improvements ng Solana, right? Pero I'm not saying that change it, but I'm just saying na parang I'm just thinking like
it's a fair criticism.
Yeah. So yeah, but overall you're like, to me it sounds like you're using the technology the right way. Yeah, the proper way as well. So I'm pretty sure you'll be successful in this venture. Yeah.
Well, I hope so.
I'm curious though.
Yeah.
Bro, Jaime, basically means you can't have a zero capital execution, no? Kasi the only way for the creators to get money is kapag na-complete nila yung certain milestone. So sabihin, in order to build a certain milestone, they need a certain level of financial backing.
Yeah. There's a starting, when they start the project, they will get something, right?
Starting.
Yeah, it's always like that.
Proceed after. Doon po pasok yung governance.
Gets.
Yeah, it's really how I guess like it's really how you structure your project, right? So I parang minsan na associated to a grant. Sometimes a grant, like they would ask you for milestones, and you can say that parang one of those milestones is a conceptualization phase, right? Wherein you will do some research and analysis first before you build your product or build your content. And yung research and analysis and conceptualization phase can be a paid, because you're gonna do some work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So parang from that, meron ng parang injection na, okay, you're gonna do this. Pwede silang, you can like sort of structure it that way. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, well, I think ideally yung creator has already conceptualized what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put that information into the project details. So it's more of executing and that.
Execution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gets. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see.
Kasi ganun din sa mga grant projects na I participated in eh. Pero kasi yung mga grant projects I participated in, like they're all applications, they're all apps, they're solutions, they're like integration with. So I have to yung conceptualization phase kasi for example for software engineering, parang analysis phase yun which is sometimes very sort of mabigat na yun to start with kasi you have to think about all of the integration points. So the conceptualization is something na parang really important at the initial phase kasi pag mali yung conceptualization for example for a software engineering project, it's possible na you'll end up rewriting the whole thing sa execution. So kaya parang dapat solid siya. So yeah, some projects, some grant projects that I participated in, they inject funds just for the conceptualization phase kasi they know that there needs to be like a good like design document for it. So yeah, just comparing that to the project.
All right. So I think we've got a lot of insight from this session, especially from Doc Reid and Jaime, with your story on how you started and why you got into content creation as a whole and how you got into Doc Reid as a chief product officer. I know it sucks. It's the end of the session. I know we wanted to ask more questions, but this is your moment, bro, Jaime. If there's anything you want to share, anything you want to plug, anything you want to mention and share to the world, this is your time.
Yeah, I think it's been a great session. It's my second podcast. I actually had my own podcast before, 2021. I had one episode, and then the podcast agency I was with closed shop. So hindi siya natuloy after that. But thank you for inviting me to this podcast. Thank you, Alvin, Christian, and Warvin. It's been a great opportunity to speak with you and, of course, to talk about Doc Reid, my project right now. So for the listeners out there, if you're a creator, right, you need funding, or if you're a backer looking to fund an up-and-coming creator, do check out our website at demo.docreid.com and you can sign up to our wait list, right? We're almost done with I would say we're going into the alpha test, right? Very soon. So please do sign up.
All right. Nice. So meron na pa sila alpha soon, no?
No, yeah. Ito storage, beta pa lang.
I want me some of that. Hi guys, this is Blockchain for Executives, where we teach you how you can leverage blockchain technology for your business.